Hi, everybody. My name is Diane Morseglia. I'm commissioner here in Bucks County, and it's my honor to be with all of you tonight. And so grateful that all of you are participating in Hope is Not Canceled. Of course, with COVID, we've had so many things canceled over the past year. This is the thing we need to hold on to, our hope. Today we found out about the turnout of an election. And it doesn't matter which side you're on. What it made me think of is that there's always hope. That always, some things can change. We can always turn things around. I also wanted to reach out to people who need support right now, and especially anyone who out there who is a survivor of suicide. The other night, something happened, and I ended up on a TV show, newscast. It was very brief, but I got 3 or 4 texts right afterwards from a grief support group I had been in many years ago when my daughter died by suicide. And they lived all over this country. And so it was like coming home when they reached out the other night. And I bring that up because I realize I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have been able to heal as much as I have if it hadn't been for that support group. So support groups, therapists, all of that are so important. And it's all part of keeping your individual hope up. I want to give a shout out to Wendy and to Kyle and to everybody on the Suicide Task Force for all the work they have done. For those of you who are considering making a donation tonight, it's really important to do so. Some of the things that we have done with that money is put signs with the suicide hotline number in the county parks. We've done the same thing at some of the SEPTA train stations. We've been able to use this money to be able to bring programs into our high schools and to be able to educate people about depression and anxiety and suicide. So it's an important endeavor. The county has made a commitment. Many of the social service agencies have also made the same commitment. And we want to be there for one another. Hope is there. I thank you for donating. I thank you for being part of this tonight. I also just want to add that, I took a few minutes to watch the opening and all the hope things people were hoping for, signs they put up. How great. And the signs that students had put up at walks in the past that were included, they all filled me with hope. So thank you. Take good care. Bye.
I've been thinking about the way things might have been had we not first met. Wandering the old roads like memories, wishing that it was in. Gonna trade it all back for a moment in time. I couldn't bear to breathe. For the loss of a love, a father and a mother, an effort wasted on me. For all we know, it comes and goes. A sister and a brother disconnected by another man that would not take. All the empty wishes for the promise she's misgiven are standing in his wake. We've all been here before, to lie awake at night, dreaming of better ways. Or the heart that's lying still, let it overtake your thrill. Just be at ease tonight. For all we know, her silently. Don't tell me you won't, don't tell me you need, don't tell me there's nothing I can do. Yeah, yeah, here comes that door.
I'm here with Mel and Shane, our incredible performers this evening. How do you both feel right now?
Energized.
Yeah.
Energized?
Yeah.
Sore.
Sore. So can you tell me a little bit about what motivated you to learn this art? I think at one point you had mentioned it's therapeutic for you.
kind of use it as like a moving meditation. I do it every day I can on break at work. It just kind of resets me.
Not with the fire.
No,
you,
no, of
so
course
you
not.
just you
No,
go through
so
the
I have
motions though.
practice day hoops, and I just have like regular plastic ones, and
Yeah.
you didn't see the hoop, but I use that in my free time.
Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah. And did you and you were brought to this through some personal difficulties, I think.
Yeah. I was in a rough place for a while.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have anything to put things into, especially at the high school,
Yeah.
because you lose kind of like all that team thing and like something working towards something, and school doesn't really do that for me. So I learned about this from a neighbor who was doing it, and it caught on really well. And we sort of called it like a moving meditation. So in the same sense as when you meditate, your mind's essentially, you don't focus on anything. Your mind doesn't go blank, but you don't focus on it. Same thing with the poi. Once you learn it,
Yeah.
you don't do poi. The poi kind of like does you. You just are flowing through it, and your mind goes blank, and it's like blanking out watching television, but with
Yeah.
doing something. And
Creativity involved.
yeah.
And have you found that moving like this has helped you just emotionally in any way, or has it been helpful for you to have this practice kind of in your routine?
Helps you deal with
You've
stress.
noticed a difference.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It helped me realize a lot of things that aren't just about poi or flow in general. Once you start doing it, it kind of like unlocks other doors
Yeah.
and lets you see how just like what you're doing is connected and to other things.
Yeah.
And it gives purpose to all those other things like cooking or doing chores
Yeah.
or doing homework. It gives you sort of like a different kind of outlook on doing those mundane activities.
Yeah.
Because you understand that if you do a mundane activity for fun out in the street, and once you can like realize that, same thing with meditation, you're doing nothing,
Yeah.
but it has purpose. So you can get purpose to other things that really mean nothing to me, in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you can experience that. You can experience more of life almost that way.
I don't know if it makes me feel happier, but it makes me feel less sad.
That's beautiful.
That's a good way to
That's a good way to put it. Well, thank you so much, Mel and Shane, our local artists, performers here in Bucks County. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hope is Not Canceled live stream. Can I just say thank you to Mel and Shane, our incredible fire artists, our local performers here in Bucks County. They were incredible. And I also want to thank the commissioner as well for her incredible support. My name is Kyle Esposito. I am the Bucks County Suicide Prevention Coordinator. I am here with Nick. Here you go.
And I am Nick Amy. I'm the Director of Outreach and Development for NAMI Bucks County.
So we are here today to talk about suicide prevention. We are going to explain a little bit about what we do in our organizations, and then we're going to just preview the rundown of the event before we have a conversation from our first guests. But again, thank you all for joining us tonight. So my name is, again, Kyle. I work for the Bucks County Suicide Prevention Task Force, which is really a committed group of professionals and volunteers who are all really, really dedicated to the mission of ending suicide and the mission of reducing suicide rates in Bucks County through a variety of programs, initiatives, events, and promoting resources. The task force has led or contributed to efforts throughout Bucks County to educate our residents on depression, on mental health, and really to reduce the stigma of asking for help, which is not something that should be stigmatized. And also to improve access to resources. So we've been really proud of our accomplishments since 2013, including putting up suicide prevention signs in SEPTA rail stations and now at our county parks as well, the development of our first responder help hotline, and including our growing cooperation with our school districts. I think that's been personally very moving to me, so it's good to be a part of that as an organization as well. And you might have heard of our Hold On You Matter walks, which a lot of schools have been participating in for quite a while. They've been just exactly what we're talking about here. They're times to come together as a group and to combat stigma as a group, and to stand up to a very difficult issue that people don't always like to talk about and have a hard time talking about. And with that.
Well, again, I'm Nick, and I am thrilled to be here, especially alongside Kyle and the Bucks County Suicide Prevention Task Force. So many of you do know NAMI. Many of you don't. If you don't, NAMI stands for National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are the nation's largest grassroots organization dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. And here in Bucks County, it's our mission to improve the lives of everyone affected by mental health conditions through recovery-focused support, education, and advocacy. So Hope is Not Canceled is a fitting theme for many reasons. One of the reasons is that during the pandemic, whether we were in or out of quarantine, we've been offering online support groups to anyone who is interested, whether you have mental illness or you are struggling, because you don't have to have a mental illness in order to take care of your mental health. But support groups, all day, every day, safe places to go and to find the comfort of people not only who understand, but who've been there. We also, an arm of our mission is education. So we, along with Kyle and the task force, bring our Ending the Silence program into schools. And it's an early intervention, evidence-based program that teaches students and teachers and families alike the warning signs of mental health conditions, how to go about getting help, what the help is like when you go and get it, and then how to help a friend, how to avoid a crisis, and what, from young adult speakers, stories of what our lives would have been like had we gotten help earlier and why that's important. And then we advocate for better lives for everyone. So whether it's if you go to the doctor and you have a heart condition, we shouldn't pay different prices because we have a mental health condition to go and attend to. So things like parity, access to the care that you need, and just better treatment. So we both work to end the stigma that surrounds mental health and suicide. So I think you can see why we partnered together on Hope is Not Canceled.
It's a very logical partnership. We, like many people throughout Bucks County, are very motivated to talk about mental health and to combat stigma and to talk about suicide, which is one of the hardest issues I think people have to talk about. And we're going to get into why in a bit. So before we introduce our guests before Nick will introduce our guests for our conversation, I just want to do a rundown of our event. So, I thank you all for being here tonight. In a little bit, we're going to hear from a few of our incredible guests who are all going to talk about their personal experiences, with this issue. We have a broad group of faces from across the county, all local, who are going to just talk about their experience. And we hope that you will find something throughout these performances and throughout these conversations that you can connect to. And we hope to have a little fun as well. So thanks for being here. And Nick, please introduce our
I didn't say thank
guests.
you, so thank you. And thank you to Commissioner Marseglia. Always a beautiful speaker. So we do have two folks with us tonight who are also amazing individuals. We have Bob Kinney, who is an educator for the Bristol Township School District, and we have Demita. Demita is... what doesn't Demita do in Bucks County?
I always find out something new that she's doing every time I talk to her.
So, Demita Harvey, thank you for being with us. Bob Kinney, thank you for being with us. If you both just want to take a moment to tell us who you are. Bob, if you want to start.
Yeah, so like Nick said, I am a health teacher at FDR Middle School in Bristol Township School District. I work with all of our 6th and 8th grade students on providing health education throughout the school year.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob. And thanks for being here. And Demita, how about you?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Demita Harvey, and I am the Prevention Manager at No Longer Bound. I also do some coordinating with the Bristol Cares Coalition, and I am a mom, and I'm currently homeschooling. So I thought that was important to share as well.
It absolutely is. So you both are advocates for the community as well, not just in terms of mental health, but Bob, you definitely are one of the most focused on mental health in the education system, at least in Bristol Township, that I have met. And I'm curious as to why, or what drives you to be the educator that you are, having your, walks at FDR, having your kids develop flyers about mental health conditions. What drives you to do that?
So I would say it's the personal experiences that I've had. 5 years ago, I tragically lost my dad in a car accident. And following that event, I didn't really take care of my mental health in the right way. And I didn't realize it for a few months. And then as I started to teach I was at the time teaching at Truman High School, we covered some topics like loss and grief and depression. And it really opened my eyes to the fact that I was dealing with a lot of those things. And then shortly thereafter, another tragic event, friends of ours lost a sibling to suicide, and having a front row seat to seeing how that impacted that family really kind of gave me a different mission as far as a health teacher goes, because I realized I could impact my students with some personal experience and really bring and put a real life face to mental health and suicide prevention. So it's something that just through those two events, I've really developed a want to educate my students and to help them understand that there are resources out there, because I think that's the biggest thing. They might know about the resources, but they definitely don't know how to access them, and sometimes they're not comfortable accessing them. And one of the big things for me, and Nick, you were involved in this, you came in and presented the Ending the Silence program in my classroom, and I will never forget the day. It was first period of the day. And we had a student who was about to go on to second period, and I could tell that your presentation had really impacted that student. And you had a conversation with that student, and I was able to alert our counselors to, a concern of mine for that student. And I think we really prevented a crisis for that student, and we were able to get that student some support that they needed. So just those things really continue to drive me to educate our students and to provide them with opportunities to learn about mental illness and to feel comfortable talking about both mental illness and suicide prevention.
I mean, could we ask for a better advocate? And Bob, I will never forget that day. And it's been, It's been really nice to work with you, and between you asking to have resources dropped off, you signed up for QPR, which thank you, I appreciate that. And that is a program that the Bucks County Suicide Prevention Task Force delivers, this time as a host through NAMI.
Yeah. No, Bob, I was just at Penridge High School today, and when I had attended, I lost a close friend, and I struggled. Like I think, like Nick said earlier, you don't have to have a mental illness to struggle with your mental health, and I think you're a great example of why that conversation needs to be normal, right? Because we all struggle, we all have grief, we all have difficult things in our lives. We don't need to suffer with that alone. I suffered with that alone for a long time after I lost my friend who died by suicide. And today I was at Penridge, and seeing them talk about it, seeing them talk about mental health, and you were there, like, I couldn't have been more moved. I couldn't have been more proud, frankly, of my community, because, you know, that is exactly the kind of conversation we need to have. And Demita, I wanted to let you introduce yourself now that, but as a student, as a former student who graduated, who cares about this issue, I really appreciate, Bob, that you've committed so hard to this. And Demita, could you just introduce yourself and tell us about yourself some more?
Sure. Again, sorry, hearing a little feedback. Sorry. So as
You're
a
right.
prevention manager of No Longer Bound, our goal is for community empowerment and addressing drug use and alcohol use and also other antisocial behaviors. Through that, we work on providing education. So some of the things we focus on with our students are making sure that they understand their emotions, their emotional health. We want to make sure they understand their mental health, and also the importance of knowing themselves. We want them to have a better understanding of who they are themselves, what their needs are, what their hopes are, what their desires are, and also understanding the importance of self-love, kindness, and learning resiliency skills. Why this is important to me is I remember having an extremely lonely childhood, and for years, years never having friends, years being the person that people were always picking on. If it wasn't what I was wearing, it was what I said or how I talked. So it was a very, very lonely childhood. And as I began, and actually it took me a long time to get over that. After my grandmother passed, it was really, really hard for me. And during her funeral, our pastor had said that, what's important is that dash, right? The dash from the day you're born and what happens till the day you pass. And that was like more of a defining moment for me of what am I going to do with my life? How am I going to make a difference? I wanted that dash in my life to mean something. And then I also wanted children to not feel alone. To not feel like I felt as a child, and to have hope, have dreams, and have desires, and know that just because they live in a certain community, that doesn't define who they are. And as a parent, I feel that it's even more important that, we talk to our children about how they're feeling, what their emotions are, because they need that safe space, right? So as community leaders, we need to also open up those conversations with our students. How are they feeling? Why are they feeling that way? How to express their feelings effectively. And then also just having those conversations so that when those tough things do come up, that they have an opening. They know they have someone that they can go and talk to. So we want them to be sharing their feelings openly so that if they are in a crisis situation, that there's someone, they know that there's someone there and that they're not alone. So.
Yeah.
And I think you spend so much time, Demita, connecting the community together. The first time I had heard of you was through the summer fun camp. And that was one of the things that we started together. And then we were working together through a lot of other programs. And there's one program that you lead for us right now at NAMI, if you want to take a second to talk about that.
Awesome. So recently started, it's now called Black Minds Matter. And the reason why I wanted to be involved in that is because in our community, we don't really talk about mental health. We don't really talk about how people are feeling. Also, mental health, it's just something that we just don't talk about. So, I was talking to Nick, and I know as soon as he decided they were going to do the Black Lives Matter, I was like, I wanted to be a part of that because I felt like I wanted to be there for my community. I actually wanted to be, and I feel that through those conversations that we have each week, that I grow, they grow, and it's a place where we can express our feelings without feeling judged. Just because, being a Black woman or being a Black person in this day and age, I mean, that carries a lot of weight, that carries a lot of baggage. And there's sometimes that we need to talk about things that other people might not understand. Not that all support groups don't help, but sometimes, having someone that can identify with you is helpful in that space. And it's a space where a safe space.
And community led, I think that was the key. That was what was so impressive about this Black Minds Matter group. Because suicide, just because the issue of mental health and suicide is broad, we tend to think that means that, just because I've had experience, I can talk to anybody. But, you're always going to have different experiences from other people. You're always going to, vary in your context, right? Even in your community. Yeah. And we need people who, even though you have that connection and you can share that connection and empathize, we still need people to have those other experiences who can talk to, people in their community who can relate and bring the support to them and have that conversation with them, because we can't just ride into any town and have that conversation ourselves.
Yeah, it helps to know that there are, and what we were hoping to do with that group, and I think with you, Demita, and Reggie and Deanna, we've succeeded with, is creating a safe space. Yeah. A safe space where people don't have to come in and explain anything and just sit down and get the support that they need. Or in this case, come on camera. So
definitely. And I feel that the people who come to the meetings each week, and it's a group, they come each week, and we're building that community. We're having those conversations about things that matter and, how they're feeling about it. So it's a wonderful resource. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Demita, for everything that you do.
No, well, thank both of you, honestly, for being here tonight. What both of you are doing is so incredible, and we are thrilled to be just to know you, and then to obviously being able to partner with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you need an example of community leaders who are advocates for mental health, need look no further than Demita and Bob. Give them an email or anything if you have questions about how they do what they do and do it so well. So thank you both.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So hope is not canceled.
Hope is
what
not
is that?
canceled.
I mean, it's obvious what it means, but what does it mean, right? How did we, where did that come from? Obviously, we've had our Hold On You Matter walks that a lot of you might know about for some years. You also had your NAMI Stride walks for some years.
Stride for mental health awareness.
Yeah. And as a result of COVID-19, we were really at a loss, right, about what can we do with all the resources that we had, because we still wanted to bring people something special, something unique. And we decided to join forces on this one.
We did, because at a time when everything else was canceled, Kyle and I were still in meetings. We were still working. Everything else was canceled. Everything else was closed. We didn't want to shut down our support groups. We didn't want to stop our education programs. You didn't want to stop your QPR programs. We were talking about how frustrating that was and that everything was canceled. Well, what do we bring to the county? We bring hope.
Exactly.
So hope is not canceled. So we partner on quite a bit of endeavors, and I don't know if you were aware of everything that we partner on. Now, I had mentioned QPR. I want Kyle to speak about that. But a group that we run called Alternatives to Suicide is a group that was brought to Bucks County as a partnership.
It was. Yeah.
We lead it. And the task force supports it along with a loss survivor support group. So, but how do we prevent loss in the community?
Yeah. No, these programs are so, I mean, I think you hit it on the head with a lot of these programs that they never stopped, right? We were working all through COVID, and it was especially needed. A lot of people out there, I'm sure, know how much more their mental health was impacted during that crisis. I'm thrilled I'm thrilled that the task force has been so successful with their QPR trainings. Wendy Flanagan's going to get into that a little bit later, but that has been a huge benefit to our community because that is a training for anybody to get involved with. And we've been we've had well over 4,000, I think, since 2016, which is a remarkable effort, and we're thrilled to be continuing those. So keep an eye out for those on our Facebooks. Get trained in QPR no matter who you are. Wendy will get into that in a little bit later, but I think the idea of just, dropping, or I don't know, like we didn't really know what to do. And so you had a park from your stride walk. And we had pulled off a live stream event in the spring, through the skin of our teeth, I think, but with some incredible talent, run really well. And we thought, why don't we combine the ideas? Let's combine the physical space we have, the stuff we already have set up. Let's give people a socially distanced car parade. Let's give them a way to line up in their cars and listen to speakers, stay far apart. It's a huge space, as you will see in a minute.
And I think that another reason that event was so important was that human beings are wired for connection. We've been doing support groups online, and we see each other virtually. And we just almost 8,000 participants in our online support groups, and you just that's great, and I'm so grateful that we have Zoom and everything. But how long can you look at a computer screen?
Not very long.
So we needed to give us as human beings what we need, and to come together. And even though it was distanced and masks and everything like that, it was a car parade. It was a really nice day to see each other.
And obviously all of the donations and all the donations tonight are going to support these programs that we've discussed throughout the entire evening, and have and that go directly to suicide prevention work, right? That go directly into saving lives through our programs.
And you are donating. I can see that
donating.
You are.
Yeah, look at that. Great. No, so log in. But just so you know, so the idea of having everyone together in person, it was the connection. It was also to continue the work that we've been doing because it has been so important. And so right now, we're going to hear from one of the speakers we had at the car parade. And I want Nick to introduce her because she's a great example of exactly how important these programs are. And then you're going to hear from her story after that.
So Anna Snyder, if you had joined us at the in-person event on October 4th, is an incredible human being, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and a testament to the fact that your most difficult moments in life, I've had them personally, they're surmountable. So when we first started our Zoom support groups in the very beginning of the pandemic, we weren't sure that we were on to the right thing. And Anna, who had just survived her suicide attempt, came in a hospital bed. And I looked at Debbie and I said, we're doing the right thing. And one of the groups is called Alternatives to Suicide. Like we had spoken about, it's one of our partnerships.
Yeah.
And it is just a safe place to come and talk about the fact that suicide is common. Everyone just thinks it isn't because we don't talk about it. So
you have two people who have both survived attempts here.
Yep.
Just so we didn't get to that earlier, but there are two people with lived experience and.
And I wonder if everybody thinks we look like that. But there's no look to a mental health condition.
No.
There's no look to thinking that you might not want to live anymore. It's just that sometimes there's difficult moments and we can get through them.
Yeah.
It's just that the Suicide Prevention Task Force and NAMI are here to let you know that you can get through them, but you don't have to do it alone. So we're going to hear a bit of Anna's story right now.
Yeah.
My name is Anna Snyder. I'm a mental health advocate and suicide attempt survivor. I've struggled with mental health conditions my entire life. I saw my first therapist and took my first antidepressant at 8 years old. I didn't receive a full and accurate diagnosis until I was 26 years old. My mental health conditions affect me in ways profound and mundane every day. I've spent my life battling against the aspects of my mental health that I can affect and integrating into my identity and lifestyle the basic realities of being a person with mental illness that I just have to accept. I've gone through many ups and downs in my life, gone through many periods of terrible depression. I went through one of the worst depressions in my life in 2019. It seemed only to get darker and more painful as the year wore on. In the fall, I was running out of hope. I had to take medical leave from college. Then I suffered a series of traumas, one right after the other. In January 2020, I entered a treatment program in Tennessee to try to stabilize my mental health. The facility and I turned out not to be a good fit, which further destabilized my mental health. I checked myself out and caught a flight home. I thought about killing myself at the airport in Tennessee. I thought about killing myself at the airport in Philadelphia. My mom picked me up and we argued in the car on the way home. I wanted to kill myself right then and there. So I texted one of my best friends and I told her how I was thinking of killing myself. And she said, "I'm sorry, Anna, I don't know how to help you." Then I did it. I jumped 30 feet off an overpass to what I thought would be my death. I arrived at the hospital on January 29th, and I saw my last visitor the day I was transferred to my first nursing home on March 13th. Because of COVID-19 protocols, I spent 4 months institutionalized, alone in a hospital bed without being able to see visitors. NAMI meetings became a lifeline for me. They offered me an opportunity to process my grief and trauma when I was unable to access behavioral therapy. They gave me a community to share and celebrate recovery milestones with. They sent me care packages of candy, snacks, and other goodies. NAMI meetings made me feel less alone during a time of deep isolation, and I will always be grateful to them for that. On July 14th, insurance cut me from the second nursing home, and I moved out of my own to start building a life worth living. I was reunited with my incredible, perfect dog, Maisie, also friends and family, I guess. I started taking my physical therapy really seriously, and I got really into watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. I also learned a lot about myself. I want to share with you some of the things I've learned since my suicide attempt, and I hope that you can remember these ideas if you're ever in a place where you ever want to act as impulsively as I did. Because suicide is usually an impulsive act. It's a response to intense emotions and an attempt to control what we no longer feel in control of. If you're in a suicidal crisis because you believe that things are so awful that they could never get better, give yourself a reality check. Stop. Literally stop moving. Take a step back and question the stories your emotion mind is telling you. Ask yourself, have you overcome struggles like this or worse in the past? Ask yourself, do you have the tools in your toolbox that you could use to help you start to overcome this? Are you smart, resourceful, creative? Do you have friends and family to rely on? Do you have a doctor or therapist you could call? And never forget that there's always the crisis hotline. Ask yourself, is this really forever? Emotion mind makes it feel as if our present circumstances are the only reality, but wise mind tells us that suffering can't last forever. In truth, the only constant is change. Ask yourself, can it get better? There are steps we can take to improve our conditions, even small ones. If we choose life, choose to fight on, choose continuous growth and change, we can meet incredible new friends we never would have met. We can realize lifelong dreams. We can impress even ourselves with how we'll impact the world. We can have amazing experiences we never would have imagined. And we can have mundane experiences that are nevertheless worthwhile. The other day, I texted my best friend to tell her about a burp that she would be proud of, and I was struck that I had almost stolen that moment from both of us. I also learned how deeply suicide impacts the people around us. My family has suffered immensely as a result of the suicide attempt. My oldest friend told me that she never would have gotten over it if I had died. I felt so alone in the months leading up to my suicide attempt. But after my suicide attempt, I realized just how many people cared for me. People I hadn't spoken to in years came out of the woodwork to visit me or call me or send me a card. I never felt so loved in my life. The two lessons that I took from that are, 1, you're never as alone as you feel, and 2, reach out, whether you're the one struggling or not, because human connection is the most important thing in this world. Thank you.
Our congressman has awarded you with a commendation, and it's in recognition of sharing your inspiring story of survival, for your efforts in spreading awareness, and for suicide prevention. And I couldn't be more proud to know you. If I revealed my true identity, to say why I'm so proud of you, but Anna, we love you just as much as you love us. So it's an honor to give this to you on behalf of Congressman Fitzpatrick.
This is really cool.
If Anna isn't a testament to why we do what we do, and if her story seemed like it was incredible, it is incredible. But it's a story that we share, especially in a group like Alternatives to Suicide and our general peer support groups. We don't know what people are carrying around with them when they do their day to day. And it's an important reminder that kindness, we ask people to reach out when they need it. It's difficult to do that. It's really difficult to do that. But we hope that after tonight, it makes it just a bit easier to reach out when you know who the help is.
Yes. No, and that was our hope, is that we can humanize the people helping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anna was incredible to meet. She was an incredible story. And she's in her conversation about recovery is, and learning to love life and appreciate what life is,
Mm-hmm.
even when it's difficult, is exactly what we're trying to share.
Anna helped us to get through this pandemic. Thinking or knowing
Absolutely.
that what we were doing mattered helped the helpers to get through. So, Anna, if you're watching, we love you and appreciate you.
And thank you again for being a hero, among a few other heroes.
Mm-hmm.
One other hero that we have coming up now, I believe, is going to be Patty Dilley, who has her own lived experience, her own journey that she is going to tell you about that was incredible. And she's been a motivation for us. I mean, since I started here, and then Nick, everywhere I've gone, she has been a light, a beacon of hope, even though she's had a lot of hardship. And so I want to introduce you to Patty Dilley.
Is this on? Yep. I guess it is. Wow. I love monarch butterflies. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. This is fantastic. I'm so pleased to be here today. 6 years ago, my life changed forever. On September 26th of 2014, my handsome son, Matt, died by suicide. He was 17 years old and a senior in high school. A smart kid, a music lover, a guitar player, a Lego lover, a quarter midget racer for 11 years, and oh, so funny. So I am a suicide loss survivor. This is by far the hardest thing in my life that I have had to endure. I sit here today, I was going to say I stand, but I sit here today because I want others to realize the importance of talking about suicide. If you knew my Matt, you would not have seen a kid that you thought was suicidal. My Matt lived 2 different lives, though. Beneath his smile, his laughter, and his jokes, there was a struggle. Matt suffered in silence. Many others like Matt do not want to reach out to others. They don't want to talk about their feelings. But we really need to change this. End the stigma. Having events like this is a wonderful way to do this. We all work through our grief in different ways. For my husband, he built a bicycle in honor of Matt. He now bikes to work every day He enjoys longer rides on the weekend. There's no weather condition that will hold him back. Rain or snow, he rides. I had to find my own way to work through my grief. I wanted to reach out to help others and others that had lost someone to suicide or were thinking about suicide. So I educated myself about suicide and I started volunteering. I attend support groups, I went to grief counseling, and I go to individual counseling. I joined the Suicide Prevention Task Force in my county, and I joined many other groups. No one is immune to suicide. When a person dies by suicide, they are in unbearable pain. They want to end their pain. They don't want to hurt others, but I know they do. During my grief journey, someone told me about the Peyton Heart Project. I'm going to hold up a heart. Here is one of the hearts. And this I'm very involved in, and I make lots of them, and they're over at the table where they have those beautiful cookies that were designed. This one says, "We have the strength to face any challenge." And I believe that. Each heart has a tag, and that's an uplifting message of hope. As soon as I saw a heart, I knew I had to get involved. The Peyton Heart Project was created by two women, Jill Cuban and Sue Harris from Morristown, New Jersey. It was inspired by several stories, including that of a 13-year-old named Peyton James, who died by suicide in October of 2014. During Peyton's life, he had experienced a tremendous amount of bullying by his peers. Far too often, bullying leads to depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions. Sometimes this increases the likelihood of suicide. The Peyton Heart Project's mission is to help raise global awareness about suicide and bullying and to help end the stigma surrounding mental health issues. These hearts have been left in 65 other countries, and they fit in all the states. These hearts are left in places for people to find. They are messages of kindness and hope. I'm sure you can see why I got involved. I feel that suicide is preventable. So what can we do? Don't let anyone's depression, anxiety, or mental health condition get out of hand. Maybe they're having a bad day, but it may be something more. Depressed individuals often retreat and isolate themselves when secretly they may want to be rescued and helped. Many times they're embarrassed to share their feelings with others. Not all individuals that die by suicide have a mental health diagnosis. Please listen, even when your family member, a young adult, a friend, a child, or a coworker is not talking. Watch their actions and their behavioral changes. Trust your gut feeling. If you think something's wrong, there may be clues and warning signs. Take a QPR class. That's question, persuade, refer. These are offered free through Bucks and Montgomery County Suicide Prevention Task Force. If a person talks about suicide, please take it seriously. Asking someone directly about their suicidal intent can lower anxiety and open up communication. It's a myth that talking about suicide will put the idea in someone's head. Having a conversation about suicide is imperative. Giving someone a heart from the Peyton Heart Project is the perfect way to start a conversation. We all struggle at times, and no one should struggle and suffer in silence. Many of us are suffering from depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions. I thought growing up with an Italian mom that it was normal to be worried. I then realized, I now know I suffered from anxiety, and it did escalate when I lost my mat. I also have PTSD as well. Let's work to take away the stigma and start talking about mental health. Let's stand strong and come together to be aware of suicide. Suicide is preventable. We can make a difference in someone's life. Reach out and speak up. And if you are having difficulties, please speak up. I'm a full-time volunteer, which is a way I am working on my grief. I feel that by helping others, I'm helping myself.
Hi, my name's Olivia Power, and today I'll be singing the song, Hear My Song. Child, I know you're weary, and your eyes want to close, and the days are getting longer, we're not getting any stronger. Trust me, Mama knows. But lie in my arms while you're sleeping, and think of the rivers you've crossed. I'll tell you the dreams I've been keeping for moments like this, when your hope is lost. Hear my song, it'll help you believe in tomorrow. Hear my song, it'll show you the way you can shine. Hear my song, it was made for the times when you don't know where to go. Listen to the song that I sing. Child, I know you're frightened, and your throat's parched and dry, but just trust in Mama singing and the gift tomorrow's bringing.
So I have a question.
Trust it, don't ask
is it
why.
an interview, so like, or am I just talking about myself?
Just lie in my arms and I'll tell you the things that you know but forget, the lies no one ever could sell you. I know that it's hard, but don't give up yet. Hear my song, it'll help you believe in tomorrow. Hear my song, it'll show you the way you can shine. Hear my song, it was made for the times when you don't know where to go. Listen to the song that I sing. You'll be fine, 'cause I'll be singing, hold on, hold tight. I know it's dark right now, but just believe somehow that soon there will be light. Hold on, hold fast. That's not enough for some, but trust the light will come and we'll get past. You and Mama safe at last. Hear my song, it'll help us get through till tomorrow. Hear my song, it'll help us survive all the pain. Hear my song, it's the one thing I have lay down. Listen to the song that I sing. Listen to the words in my heart. Listen to the hope I can bring, and we'll start to grow and shine. Listen to the song that I sing, and trust me, we'll be fine.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. 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 There's a place where we don't have to feel unknown. And every time that you call out, you're a little less alone. If you only say a word, from across the silence, your voice is heard. And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. You will be found. Shadows, the morning is breaking, and all is new, all is new. It's filling up the empty, and suddenly I see that all is new, all is new. You are not alone. 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 Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around.
Thank you.
Well, hello, I am Wendy Flanagan. I am with Bucks County Suicide Prevention Task Force. I'm the chair for, one of the chairs for the task force. Deb, Moritz, and I have a tough act to follow. Nick and Kyle, the camera seems to love them. But anyway, they were just two beautiful musicians that we just got to experience. Thank you, Amanda and Liv, for sharing your beautiful talent with us. So I also work for Bucks County Suicide Prevention, or I work for the task force, but I also work for the County Department of Mental Health and Developmental Programs. And I am fortunate and proud to be able to work in Bucks County in this community with such wonderful people that do great things. We have the second half of the lineup. We'll do a couple of interviews, but I'm going to let Deb introduce herself to you right now.
Hi, I'm Debbie Moritz. I'm the Executive Director of NAMI Bucks County. And I'm the parent of 3 adult children, 2 of them that were diagnosed with a mental health issue in childhood. As Nick mentioned earlier, we're a support, education, and advocacy group. And one of the important things that we do at NAMI Bucks County is a program called Ending the Silence. So Ending the Silence presentation helps students to learn about the signs of mental health issues and what steps you can take to help a loved one or a friend that may be experiencing a mental health condition. So NAMI's Ending the Silence presentation includes 2 leaders who share informative presentation about mental health, and then a young adult who talks about their own experiences with mental health issues and their journey through recovery. So students can ask questions and gain an understanding of an often misunderstood topic through dialogue, and we could help them grow and end the movement, or start the movement to end the stigma. So the program is typically presented in middle schools and high schools, and we do community and church programs as well, and staffs and parents. So some of the things that they talk about is mental health issues and what helped them when they were in school, what could have helped them, and what did help them.
So back in January, I got to hear this story of this student from Ben Salem who had seen the presentation End in the Silence, and I'm going to let her tell her story. She's here to join us today, and I have to thank her, Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice. Caitlin and I have spoke over the phone, but it's finally nice to actually see you. Is your mom with us today, Caitlin, too?
Yeah, she's right here.
Hi there.
I just got home.
Oh, good. I am so glad that you guys are able to join us. You have no idea how grateful I am. When I heard this story, it just touched my heart. So, Caitlin, well, why don't you, if you want to do just a brief introduction, you are a student at Ben Salem, correct?
Yes, I'm a freshman. Sadly, we're online. Haven't even got to go yet, but it's all good. But
I know.
yeah, 14, gonna be 15 in January.
Okay. I know, it's, we've all had our new norm. I hate that term, but it's the new norm.
Easy.
And Mom, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Caitlin's mom. My name's Nicole Grooves. I also work for the school district at the middle school, at Schaefer Middle School.
Oh, you do? Okay, okay.
Yes.
So, Caitlin, could you bring me to the day, could you share the story with us, about a friend that reached out to you and tell us a little bit about what happened that day?
Of course. So it was January 3rd, I believe, and I got a text from one of my friends from class. She's in a lot of my classes. Well, it was in 8th grade. And she texted me and said that she was feeling down lately and that her depression was getting worse. And she struggled with many mental health issues such as epilepsy and all other problems that led to her feeling this way. And she texted me and she said that she was debating on taking her own life. And I tried my best to talk her out of it, tried my best to help her out in the situation that she was in, but I wasn't. It was kind of hard for me because I never went through it before. I didn't know what to do. So I just talked to her for a good 30 minutes, and then 30 minutes went by, and then she texted me and said that she was taking a thing of ibuprofens, and I was kind of confused because I thought I had helped her, but mental illnesses are really, really hard to deal with because there's really no way in helping them. And so she said she was going to take ibuprofens, and that like hit hard because I didn't know what to do at all. So I asked my mom, and I debated on calling the cops. So then I decided to call the cops and called 911. They came to my house and got all the information from me, address, everything, name, and they went to her house and got her and took her to the hospital, flushed out her system and everything. And the mom, I don't believe, was aware of what had happened, so if she hadn't have came to me, she probably wouldn't be here today. And she was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and then she texted me when she got out of the hospital and said that I made such a huge impact on her life, and that if I hadn't made that decision, she wouldn't have had the extra 10 months to live that she had.
Caitlin, that story is just amazing to me in so many ways. I mean, one of the things that I heard you say is that, with mental illness, there's no real way to help. But do you realize how much help you did make and impact you did have on her life? And that's the important part. So there's just a couple things with this story that really stick out to me. One is your friend came to you with things that at 13, 14 years old, what are you supposed to do with that information? And it is so scary for a 13-year-old to hear that their friend doesn't want to live anymore. And oftentimes, we have a young adult subcommittee that I work with all the time. So I'm privileged to work with these young adults and get feedback from them on how to best really get to our young adults and really help them. And one thing they tell me is that young adults go to young adults. They don't really go to family adults, or they don't go to professionals. And you went to your mom, right? When you got that information, you went to your mom and told her. And I think, it's kudos to you. It's kudos to your mom for creating such a safe space for you to know that you can go to her. Because I think that's really important for us to hear here is that, families, it's important to have these conversations so kids are comfortable to go. So, hearing your story was just so inspiring to me when you told that to me. I just, the task force over the years has worked with many different schools to bring Hold On You Matter, our walk, to the community. And when we heard this in the spring, initially we thought, can Caitlin come to our walk to talk about it? And we just thought this was a great opportunity now. So I am just so grateful that you were able to come here today. And Nicole, the support that you provide to your daughter, I mean, it's just amazing, the both of you. The strength that you have, the bravery that you have, and Caitlin, I just hope you know that you saved a life. I mean, what a difference it makes. And you saw ending the silence in the school year too, right? Like you had received that. Yeah, it's just such a powerful story. Is there anything you want to add?
I will also want to say that was a very powerful story, and you're very brave to say something. But I have a couple questions. So were you afraid? Were you afraid to say something? And how did you overcome that?
I was very afraid because, there's certain situations when they're not being serious, but you have to always take it serious because that's their life on the line right there. And if you don't take that serious and you don't think quick, they could have died. They can die. And it's happened to many people, so it's something that you should take serious.
Were you worried if you told somebody that she would be mad at you?
Yes, I was very worried about that, considering she was a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly didn't want to ruin that friendship, but I also still wanted to have her here.
Right, that far outweighs, someone being mad versus, and again, I think that just speaks to your bravery, because so many times, again, what I hear from young adults is the fear of going to somebody because they're afraid that their friend's going to be mad at them. So I think the message that we need to take from this is how important it is if a friend comes to you to take that information to somebody that can help them, because there is help out there. And at 14, Caitlin, it shouldn't lie on your shoulders. It should really lie on somebody's shoulders that can help. So Nicole and Caitlin, I just thank you so much to be here today, because your message is so powerful, and I think it's so important for people to hear, what happens when you call for help. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you for having us. Absolutely.
I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. So if you're interested in having an Ending the Silence in your school or a presentation in your community, you can call our office, talk to our Ending the Silence Director, Laurie Pepe, and you could reach her at 215-913-0479. And to learn more about NAMI programs, you can call our office at 1-866-399-6264.
Oh, it's always hearing those stories are so inspirational. Speaking about inspirational, I just, some of the other things that we do or we have in Bucks County is a robust crisis. And I have Chris Thompson, who I am proud to work on the task force with. He is my co-chair, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the crisis services in Bucks County, because he not only is a co-chair for the task force, but he also is the director or associate executive director of Lenape Valley Foundation Crisis Service. We also, on the call, we're going to be talking to John Turner. We'll get into our conversation with John, but I want to turn it over to Chris first. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
I think we have a problem with Chris.
Okay. So, Chris, it seems like there might be a little bit of technical difficulty, so I do apologize. And with the crisis services, I do want Chris to talk most about them, but maybe one thing that Deb and I can talk a little bit about is crisis intervention.
Right.
Our crisis intervention team, I think it's really important as our goal for the next segment is to talk about first responders, to talk about our crisis services, and that's something that John's going to bring to the table, is talk a little bit more about first responders. But our crisis intervention team, I would like Deb to kind of start out, but it is a training that we offer to our law enforcement.
Well, the CIT task force came out of one of our classes called NAMI Family to Family, and this is a 8-week class where we teach families how to what a mental illness is, how it's diagnosed, how is it treated, and how can they support their loved one who may be experiencing a mental health issue. And one of the things that the people in the class decided that was a really big problem here in Bucks County and actually everywhere was that a lot of people were finding themselves getting into trouble with the law and getting involved in the criminal justice system, and were ending up in jail rather than being in treatment for mental health. So they decided that they were going to look around the country and see what kind of programs were already out there. And one of the ones that they settled on was a Memphis model, and it's called CIT, which stands for Crisis Intervention Training. So in 2008, the task force was formed, and that included some of our base service units, the Bucks County Department of Mental Health and Mental Retardation at that time is what it was called. And in 2009, the first CIT class started. So now this took a long time. It was several years that they had to advocate and try to get this program off the ground. But one of the things that they worked on was to try to. Okay.
No worries. No worries.
Okay, so I think we're coming into Chris now to talk about our crisis services, but our CIT is a 40-hour class that is offered to law enforcement, and maybe we can get into a little more detail after we get the opportunity to talk to Chris. But Chris, if you can you hear us now, Chris?
Yes, I think we've
There
moved
you
past the
are.
technical difficulty.
Hey!
Great. You guys are doing a great job up there. Thank you
Oh.
for your service tonight.
Well, Chris, tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about Lenape and the crisis services in Bucks County.
Sure. My name's Chris Thompson. As they said, I'm the Associate Executive Director of Crisis Services at Lenape Valley Foundation. I'm also a certified QPR trainer. Been doing QPR before it was even cool. And I love to provide QPR to the community. But at Lenape Valley Foundation, we provide the vast majority of crisis services in Bucks County. And I'm just going to run through the list of services we have and then talk about each one briefly. We have the crisis residential program called The Lodge. We opened that in September of 2019. We also have site-based walk-in crisis at Doylestown Hospital and at the campus of Lower Bucks Hospital. We also have mobile crisis services providing service to the entire county. We have a 24-hour crisis hotline that you can call anytime, 365, and talk to a crisis worker. We also have a warm line that is operational during the week, during daytime hours, and that is answered by a certified peer specialist. And then last but not least, we have our first responder support line. And we have John that will be talking with us tonight about that a little bit further. Just real quick, the crisis residential program is an alternative to inpatient psychiatric services. It's a great environment. It's home-like. It's less traumatizing. You're allowed to keep your shoes and your laces, and you're allowed to keep your cell phone. And we try really hard to create an environment that's client-centered, and where we're thinking a lot about unconditional positive regard for the individual we're working with. We provide individual therapy, group therapy. We have certified peer specialists embedded in the program. We work really hard on discharge planning and aftercare planning. So it's a great little program. It's been a little challenging to open a crisis residential and have a pandemic hit. That's been a little interesting, but we've certainly worked through it, and we're still providing service and have people coming in and avoiding inpatient psychiatric services, which is really important for many folks. We also have walk-in crisis. If you were to walk into one of our crisis centers, you'll meet with a crisis worker who will conduct a level of care assessment, provide you with crisis counseling, and then work really hard to connect you with services that are appropriate for the experience that you're having at the time. Again, crisis workers work really hard to meet the client exactly where they are and provide that unconditional positive regard throughout the experience. We also have mobile crisis services. And real quick, I'm going to give you a number for that. 1-877-435-7709. You can call that number anytime, 24/7, 365, and make a referral to our mobile crisis team. At the same time, you'll be in contact with a crisis worker that can help you work through any immediate challenges you're having in the moment. We provide service to the entire county. We provide service to adults and children, which is a really good aspect of the mobile crisis team. A lot of times, families experience crisis together, and multiple people are being infected by that. So mobile can come out to the home and interact with the family and help de-escalate the situation, and then provide referrals to outside providers. So please, if you need help, reach out. There's multiple ways to do that. The 24-hour hotline number is 1-800-499-7455. Write that number down, put it in your wallet, put it in your purse or your back pocket. Call anytime. And that is for any kind of crisis that an individual or a family is having. We also have a warm line, and as you can see on the screen, the phone number for that is 215-896-9717. And that is available Monday through Friday from 1 to 5 p.m. And again, it's answered by a certified peer specialist. Now, the warm line is for more of like check-in, see how you're doing, give an update, touch base with a peer support. And it's someone that you can build a relationship with over time and call here and there when you just need to talk to somebody. And then now just we're going to move in and talk a little bit more about our first responder support line. And I believe John is going to join us. He is a volunteer and a coordinator and helps us provide that service to the community. He's actually someone who answers that line if you call.
Yeah, hi. How is everyone this beautiful day?
Hi, John. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. John, tell
Thank
us,
you.
what is the First Responders Support Team?
Okay, we are a specially trained peer support. Everybody that answers the call is either a retired or presently working as a first responder, either police, fire, EMS, dispatcher, and we're here to be able to help anybody that is having any type of problem. If you're having a problem with work situations, a bad call, if you're having a problem with your spouse, we're here to be able to have you call us, and we have big ears, is what I'd say. We have real big ears to be able to listen to you and see if we can work out this situation a little bit with you and hopefully get you in a better place.
So this is a peer support line that is for first responders, right?
Yes, just for first responders.
Okay. And during the pandemic, did I hear correctly that this line is opened up to healthcare professionals as well?
Yes, all the frontline workers, it opened up to them, and it's actually done pretty well with that. We've gotten a handful of calls because of that. They see just as much as the first responders do and see more death and more problems at times.
Well, there's
John,
a partnership there, right? With I feel like the frontline workers, having worked in the healthcare field, I think that the partnership with first responders and healthcare professionals, yes, is one and the same sometimes, right?
Yeah, we work all hand in hand.
John, is this for the Bucks County residents only?
That's what it started out as, but we've actually have expanded out to Allegheny County. We've had people calling us from other states also, Virginia, Washington, all over the place. So it's mainly for Bucks County first responders, but we will take calls from anybody and help anybody out there, because what we're finding out is there's different states that don't have the system set up like we have here in Bucks County. We're very lucky to have all the crisis intervention people that we do. Especially down in Virginia, we've received a few calls from down there because there's just nobody to call for first responders.
That's great. So you're saying if you call from Montgomery County or Virginia, you're not going to turn them away.
We'll never let anybody and turn anyone away. Never.
Now, what about family members of first responders? Is this something that they could utilize?
Yes, they can. That's one thing that we've been trying to work on and getting the word out, that it's not just for the first responders, because the family members of first responders see and sometimes feel what's going on with whoever is actually responding to these calls. They come home, they flip out, they have problems. So we've opened it up to everybody, the whole family, to be able to have them come in and talk to us.
So I'm seeing here, what is the number for this line?
Okay, it's 267-893-5400. That is for what happens is you call that number. It actually goes to the crisis center in either Doylestown or Lower Bucks, and all they have to do is that they want to talk to a first responder, or that they are a first responder, and what they do is crisis will forward it to one of the on-call members that uses cell phones to be able to talk to them. We've had people call up and just say, "Hey, I'm having a problem," and they have. We've talked to people for 5 minutes, and we've talked to people for 2.5 hours, just to try to help them through whatever problem they're having.
Is this number available 24 hours a day?
24/7. We're always there, ready to help out.
What if you get a first responder that is calling and in some kind of crisis, like having thoughts that they want to die by suicide? Is this the right number to call if they're feeling that way?
We would prefer them to call 911, but if they do call us, we will help them and most likely call 911 for them, but we will help them through whatever problems they're having. Because we do not go out to the call. We are just strictly on the phones, but we will get them help. as soon as possible.
John, if somebody's already seeing a therapist or a professional, can they still call you first?
Sure can. We've actually had many calls that way where they're actually seeing therapists on a regular basis, and for some reason they can't get to them, especially during this pandemic. They're having a tough time getting to the therapist, so they call us, and like I said, we'll listen to anything they have, any problems they have, and we try working with them. If they don't have a therapist, we actually have resources throughout inter-county and out-of-county where we can refer them to the people, either in treatment, out treatment, to be able to help them out.
That's great. And one thing I learned is that when you were looking for resources, you truly vetted these out to know that these are professional resources that work well with first responders. Isn't that correct?
Yes. Everybody that we've talked to is either a first responder, has worked with first responders for many years, and they're willing to work with them, bring them in, and they have some idea what the problems are that they're going through, or may have been actually in that problem before, may have had that rough call that a death they've seen, or any other problems they've had.
So, John, if people wanted more information about this, who or how do they go about getting more information? What if a first responder wanted to bring this to, if they're a firehouse or something like that? What do they do? How do they go about getting information?
Okay. They can call that hotline, and they will get in touch most likely with me or Nicole Wolf, and we will get them either a flyer, business cards, or we will come out to their station, to their headquarters, and actually give a talk about it and let them know firsthand what's going on. We do everything we can to work with them to be able to get it out. We really do.
Is there anything that first would need to help with this cause? Anything that you need?
One of the best things would be donations. We don't actively ask for donations, but just be able to help with the cell phone and some of the advertising costs that we have. We are all volunteer, and it is all confidential. So we just need the some donations, and you can send them to Lenape Valley Foundation, and then make sure you put down First Responder Support Team, and that way we will receive it. We also may need some more call takers soon. So if anyone is retired that is a first responder or was your first responder, please get in touch with us, and we'll see if we can get you the training and get you on board. And we need more people to talk about it, get the people out there and make sure people are aware of it. Finding out a lot of first responders, even though we have flyers and we've talked to numerous people, they don't know about this. And what some people are thinking, because I've talked to some and they go, well, it's only for work-related problems. Well, it's not. It's for anybody, either a personal problem, work-related problem. It could be a spousal problem. It could be one of your kids got you mad and you just need to vent. So you can just call us up and just scream at us if you want, and just let us know, hey, we're having a problem, and vent it out. People just need to talk.
Well, thank you so much, John. I mean, one thing that we know is first responders like to talk to first responders, right? Especially, they have an understanding of what they're doing. So I appreciate so much of what you do for this county and for this line. One thing I learned about John is he is a first responder in almost everything. He's a retired police officer, firefighter. He has been such an asset to our community. So thank you so much. And he continues to keep giving to the community. So once again, I am just so privileged to work in Bucks County with such wonderful people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to talk online here and let people try to hopefully let more people know about us.
Yes, we're getting the word out. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
All right. So, we've learned a lot about schools and unprecedented times that both students and teachers are having right now, as well as first responders and frontline workers and how important it is. So we wanted to just offer some hope to our first responders and teachers.
Hold on. You matter.
Hold on. You matter.
Hold on.
You matter. Hold on. You matter.
Hello, my name is Tina Hagee. I'm a registered nurse who works in 2 long-term care facilities. To say right now is a challenging time is an understatement. It's overwhelming, it's confusing, and it's tough. But I want to send a message to all my fellow healthcare workers who continue to go to work every day to care for others. In whatever capacity that you may be doing that, remember to take a breath. Remember to take time for yourself each day. Remember why you got into this in the first place. This is merely one moment in time, and yes, what a moment in time it is. But as the saying goes, this too shall pass.
Hold on!
You matter!
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I'm a registered nurse at a long-term care facility. As nurses, when we have a patient that makes suicidal statements or they have new signs and symptoms of depression, we are to alert the doctor immediately. So during this hectic time, don't ignore your own signs and symptoms. With this pandemic, it's only natural to feel down, exhausted, anxious, lonely, and you may even have insomnia worrying about things. If you talk to a therapist once or multiple times, it will lift the weight that you're feeling. The world would be much happier if every single person was able to talk to a therapist, talk to someone about their emotions. We are all in this together. Let's take care of ourselves and each other. Stay safe. Much love and prayer sent. Thank you.
Hold on, you matter.
My name is Samuel. I'm a registered nurse, and I want to speak to you guys real quickly about suicide prevention. Real understand that don't ever judge a book by its cover. So those people that you think that has on top of the world, that has the best life, a lot of times it's not so. A lot of times I know there's a big thing with culture. Many cultures don't recognize mental health and mental illness, and this is, a lot of cultures out there. I don't want to name them because I don't want to offend anyone. But there are a lot of cultures out there where your parents don't understand, or your culture don't recognize mental health and mental illness. And with that, again, I implore you to go to this site and actually talk to people that do understand your plight. And I know it can be trying, I know it can be very difficult. So I would leave with you with say peace and blessings, and I wish you much love, and hopefully all your mental health and mental illness and things like that can just go away. Or if they don't go away, at least you can deal with them on a daily basis, and the stress can be decreased where you can live a normal, productive life.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for attending tonight. I'm here with NAMI Man, Zero Suicide Man. You know Wendy, you know Debbie. Thank you for being here tonight
We
with
brought
us.
our superheroes. Deb and I always have our superheroes.
Because what we do, when you ask for help, when you get the help that you need, and when you speak your truth, you're a superhero too. So mental health conditions, people living with them, you deserve superheroes. And suicide attempt survivors deserve superheroes too, right?
Absolutely. And just because you wear a cape doesn't mean you're not a hero. I think everyone we've had on tonight is a hero in their own way, for sure.
Yep.
They just don't always dress like it.
Absolutely. Well, it's a privilege to have had this time with you tonight. It really is. It's a pleasure to be the mascot of an organization. I may look like that other guy, but it's not me. But I just wanted to remind you that everything that we do for the community, everything we talked about tonight, and everything that we offer to you is offered free of charge.
Absolutely.
And the way that we keep ourselves sustainable is through contributions from generous people like you. This is one way to donate, so you can go to holdonyoumatter.com or NAMIBuckstride.org to make a donation. You can donate through Facebook. And if you do make a contribution, send us a note, and for $10, we have these Hope Is Not Canceled masks. And people have asked us for them. We ordered them specially for this evening. And Kyle, what else do we have?
We have t-shirts. We have incredible t-shirts that say Hope Is Not Canceled, and sweatshirts as well that were made.
Awesome.
I forgot the price.
It's a message that keeps on giving.
It's QVC or NAMI. So our sweatshirts are $30, so they're available for a $30 donation, and our t-shirts are available for a $15 contribution. And just to give you a small idea, it costs about $5 for each participant to participate in our support groups. So each contribution gets several people's support for a week, and it goes toward our QPR prevention programs, our helpline, and it keeps us collaborating. It keeps us working. It keeps us doing the good things that we do. Right, Zero Suicide Man?
That's right, NAMI Man.
So our suicide task force too it works on all donations. We have some good ideas and plans that we hope to really do in 2021, and one of them is to bring a loss team to the county. And the loss team is a support team that is offered to the community when there is a suicide, and it's a postvention and prevention effort, because what we know is when survivors receive help and support right away, it's preventing them from experiencing their own mental health crisis. So that is our goal, and this is to help us get to our goal, is to bring that loss team to Bucks County. It's so very important to us.
Yep. And just remember, hope is not canceled.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for attending.
you.
Now check out some incredible footage from the October 4th car parade. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hope Is Not Canceled. How's everybody doing? Good? You can talk over this. This is us introducing the event. Welcome. I'm Zero Suicide Man. I'm here with my friend NAMI Man.
I love her. You're in two places at one time.
How
did you do that?
Suicide. And to remember that hope is not canceled. This is the first of the Hope Is Not Canceled event series. This was the decorated car parade in Warminster Community Park. I don't remember having hundreds, right? People. I forget.
Yeah. It was.
We weren't sure.
Inspiring messages on all of those cars, just bringing again hope to Bucks County.
And
There's NAMI Boy.
There's NAMI Boy.
We have local representatives, of course, speaking.
Yes, absolutely. If anybody is watching this and you're seeing everything that we're doing, we have PBR Studios who's putting this together for us. We work full time, but a lot of it after that is volunteer because we care. Look at all these cars. If you ever think that you're alone and we say you're not alone, we mean you're not alone. And this is how we prove that. There's Commissioner Harvey.
Absolutely.
Again, I just want to highlight PBR and what a partnership it's been to work with PBR. I mean, they brought a live stream in the height of a pandemic in April, and they helped us through that. and they continue. They were there on the 4th, and then today. I mean, PBR has been such an instrumental part of us bringing events to you through this pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see a business. We don't always talk about this, but businesses are very personal to people too, and their livelihoods are very personal to them too. And to see a business and people who are creative thrive in this difficult time with something that works and makes sense. It's part of what we're doing. It just happened. It took a crisis to bring us together.
It did. And I do believe they work so hard to put up with our stuff. Because these events are hard to plan, but they put up with us and they make us look good.
It's good to have pros and purposes.
Because they care.
Let's be real.
They care, and we wouldn't have been able to. Hope would have been canceled without PBR. So thank you, PBR.
But I mean, we had great weather at Warminster Community Park. We had great weather today at Penridge before this.
Yep.
We love seeing our schools.
Did we talk about Penridge and what they did? Okay, because it was just phenomenal.
Whenever schools branch out and do their own walks and talk about it in their own school community, that's exactly the kind of conversation we're trying to have. That's exactly the kind of thing that we're trying to bring to the community.
Oh, it was amazing, amazing.
And yeah,
those are the second place winners of the car parade.
They did a phenomenal job with their car.
And this is an old military base. We still have the runway there.
Thank goodness we have that runway there. Yeah, for real. Oh my goodness.
There they are. There's our second place winners.
There's our second. It's a semicolon vehicle. That's our friend Christine. She helps us to plan these walks too, and we are just. Oh, there's
I don't know that guy.
Who said Zero Suicide Man can't dance?
I'm waiting for my favorite part of the day. It'll be coming up.
Oh, okay, I see. So we had Brian Fitzpatrick there. There's our Vice President, Jamie Garrow, and there's Herbie.
That's Herbie too. There's two Herbies there.
And it was Commissioner Marsaglia was there who introduced the program tonight. I did want to also mention, she received an award from us at this event.
Yep. So we presented her with our Mental Health Champion Award, and another person, and I had said at the event, we don't really realize what our people like our commissioners do to promote mental health in the community, to strengthen the services that we're offered, and to make this a great place to live and receive the care and support that you need for your mental health. We are lucky to have Commissioner Marsaglia. We're also lucky to have these two, and Chris Thompson, and everyone we spoke with tonight, and Zero Suicide.
And you.
Anyway,
you're not.
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for attending tonight, for viewing this tonight. We're all very tired, but very, very grateful as well. And I think this is going to carry us into the new year with just a rejuvenated purpose, right? We're ready to continue doing this incredibly hard work in our county with your support. So thank you so much.
Thank you for your support. We couldn't do all of this without your support.
We really couldn't. We really couldn't. And we need to be able to do more. And what you're doing is helping us to do that. Offering more groups, offering more support, offering more hours on the helpline, more QPR training programs. But I want you to remember, as we close, that there is help. There is hope. And until there's a cure, there's NAMI and the Suicide Prevention Task Force in Bucks County.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.